Hey, y'all. Follow me on this journey as God has instructed me and my family to move from my hometown, Cleveland, Ohio, to Dallas, Texas. And literally 5 months later, we were evicted. On October 18th, 2024, we were evicted. But I want to have a quick little side note moment. I want to say this for those who have seen the first video or the first two videos that I made, stating that what our circumstances are right now, and those who have texted me that I know or have messaged me and kind of was like, oh, I feel so sorry, so sad, or I'm so sad for you, or and it's like, I don't want you to be sad for me. I don't want you to be discouraged. This is a part of the plan that God had for me. I am at peace with it now. I wasn't at peace with it at first, but now I am at peace because I know that God has a greater plan for me. I know that God did not just bring me out here, me and my children out here to just leave us. So I need y'all to understand, and I want y'all to understand that I am at peace, and what I need from you the most, if nothing else, is to just continue to keep us in your prayers. So let me go ahead and get straight into this part of my journey, part one. If I kind of gave you an introduction in the last video, so go back and watch that one if you have not seen it. So basically, in August of 2024, that was the month that I could not pay my rent. But August 2024 was the month also that my oldest daughter was leaving to go off to school. I knew that the day that we were dropping her off to go to school, that I did not have the rent money, and I didn't know how it was going to be made, or how I was going to come up with it. But I did not want to worry my daughter with it, and I did not want to take away from her moment, because this is my oldest child. My baby is going to a HBCU. She's in an HBCU college, going to make something of herself. So I never wanted to take from her moment with my situation and what it was that we were going, that me and her younger siblings were facing. So I never told her anything. So we dropped her off at school, and then we went back home. Me and my younger, we went back home. My younger kids. And, as we went back home, I tried to come up with the rent, but there was nothing that I could do to come up with the rent. I was looking for resources on trying to help with paying the rent, like community places. But the city that God has called me to has no resources, right? There was no help there. And then the outside cities did not help the city that I lived in. And I was telling God, like, God, how could you do this? How could you bring me to a place where there is no help, right? But I do know that God makes ways in the wilderness, right? So I'm like, God, you brought us to this place. Like, how could you be allowing this to happen to us? I had no understanding, right? But now I understand, because I kept saying, why is this happening to me? Why are you letting this happen to me? And it is not happening to me. It is happening for me, because God has a greater plan for me, and for my family, and even for those who are attached to me and those who are coming across this video. I need you to understand that God has a greater plan for you. So, I couldn't come up with the rent. So my landlords kept calling me, couldn't come up with the rent. So eventually, September 11th, when they put an eviction notice on my door, I want to say the beginning of September. They don't waste no time out here in Texas to take you to court, baby. September, I got the notice on my door the beginning of September. September 11th, I had to be in court. I was hoping and praying that God was going to show up, to make the way to where I did not have to go to court, because the eviction notice was only for August rent. So I get to court, and I'm just like, I met some nice ladies along the way, at the prayer mountain that I went to. I met some nice ladies, and they were just like, when you go to court, just ask the judge, could you please your case, and let them know what's going on. So when I went to court, the judge basically ruled on the property management's behalf. But I was like, can I plead my case? So when I talked to the judge was a sweet judge. I'm crying, y'all, and I'm telling him, like, y'all, listen, I did not plan on coming thousands and thousands of miles away with my kids. Like, that's crazy to plan on coming thousands and thousands of miles away with your kids and not paying rent. Like, if I had the rent, I would have paid the rent, but I honestly did not have it, and there was no way for me to get it. I checked every single resource I could. I reached out to the people that God allowed me to reach out to, and it was no help anywhere. So the judge was like, honestly, I feel, he was sorry. He felt sad for me, but he's like, I have to do my job. I still have a job to do. And I understand that. And he was like, but I can advise you to go to legal aid and, try to get you legal aid to try to hold up the eviction process. And he's like, also too, just because I'm ruling for you to be evicted doesn't mean that you have to be evicted. You can always go and talk to your landlord to see if they'll give you extension to come up with your rent. So after he rules on their behalf, I leave out the courtroom, and I'm crying. And there was a lady in the courtroom as well, and she was taking her tenants to eviction court. She followed me out, and she was crying, and she was like, it just hurts my heart to see this happening to you and your kids. She ended up trying to give me some information on some places that has helped some tenants of hers pay rent, but I reached out to those people, and because it was in the city that I live in, they didn't help. So she was like, she did give me that information, and she also gave me her email address, for us to keep in contact. So after I finished talking with her, my landlord came up to me, and my landlord was like, I really don't want to kick you out, this and the third. He's like, I'll give you an extension, a 10-day extension, which meant until September 21st to try to come up with the rent. So he gave me the grace, and I was grateful for the grace. But one thing, let me tell you about, one thing I need us to understand is people, if we're going to give people grace and we're going to give people extensions, let's give them a moment to try to figure it out, y'all, because he was on my butt. Even though he gave me grace, he was on my butt, hounding me down, calling me from the first thing in the morning to the last thing at night, texting me day in and day out, popping up at my house. It was like I had no peace, and I didn't even have any clarity to even be able to think of another way to try to come up with money. But I was grateful for the grace that he gave me. So of course September 21st came around, and I still did not have the rent. And y'all, he was on my heels, he was on my butt, and it was like, if I had it, I would have paid it. There's no way. So now of course I'm behind August rent, but now it's September 21st, so now I'm behind September's rent. So of course, I'm praying and I'm fasting. I'm going on 3-day dry fast, no food, no water. I'm standing in God's presence. I'm asking God, like, God, how could you be allowing this to happen to me? You could have let me be evicted at home. Like, why would this be going on? Like, and y'all, I think I said it earlier. At that moment, I thought that it was happening to me, but now I get it that it was happening for me. So, I just was so confused. Of course, October 1st comes. So now it's October 1st. So now I'm behind on October's rent. And I pull up at home and I have a notice on my door saying that basically I have until the 18th of October to get out. I'm still believing that God is going to come through, right? I ain't packed nothing. I'm just knowing, like, God, I know you ain't bring us out here for this to happen to us. I know this ain't what you brought us here for. So of course I didn't pack. I'm still just hoping and believing that God is going to come through. So basically, let's just keep getting moving. On October 17th, that was the day before the 18th, we had to be out by 8 a.m. I'm just like so defeated. I'm discouraged, but I'm still not giving up on God, but I'm kind of getting hopeless. So I go and I'm just laying in my bed, because at this point I'm like, we just gonna pack up a few things, because we don't have no money to put nothing in storage. We don't have money for a moving truck. We don't even have money to go anywhere. We just gonna pack up our stuff, the little stuff, and we just gonna go. I don't know where we were going to. I'm like, it don't make sense to go back home. I know it's so much easier to say to go back home, but it don't make sense to go back home, and then it don't make sense to stay, and I don't even know if that makes sense, but I'd rather stay and push forward and see what's on the other side, because I know that God has something great for me and my family on the other side, and not just even me and my family, but for the kingdom and those who are going to see this video. So I laid in my bed and I'm discouraged, and somehow my neighbor pops up on my spirit. I thank God for my neighbor. My neighbor plays a big role in this, and I'm going to share about her as this journey goes on. So I text her and I say, hey, we're getting evicted. If we have things in here, if there's some things that you want to come and pick through and get, before they put it out on the line, you could come and get it, because we don't have bad stuff. We had good stuff, nice stuff. So I'm like, you could come and get it. So after that, I go upstairs and I go start going through my kids' stuff to pack up their things and telling them to pick what they need to pick, and then we're having their talk, and they're crying and this and that and the third, and I'm crying, and then I hear a ring at the doorbell, and it's my neighbor. And as soon as I open up the door, she opens up her arms and reach out, and she gives me a hug, and then she says, what are we doing? She said, because Rhonda, we not losing hope. We're not losing hope. And I'm like, I don't know. At this point, I just feel hopeless. I just feel so hopeless. She said, Rhonda, we're not losing hope. She's like, I've been there before. I've been homeless for a year with my 3 children. She's like, we're not losing hope. She said, so what are we doing? And I'm like, I don't know. We just gonna leave everything. And she's like, no. We're going to pack this stuff up. She said, I don't have money to offer you, but I have a garage to offer you. So we're going to pack this stuff up. We're going to pack your house up, and we're going to put the stuff in the garage, and then that way, and she said, and better yet, we can sell it. She said, because it's better for us to sell it and you get money to be able to pay for a night stay or pay for gas for your car, versus leaving it here and allowing some complete strangers to get it and they make money off of it and you get nothing. So she literally helped me pack up my house and put everything into her garage. She started taking pictures of everything in my house and started putting it on Facebook Marketplace. And that is how I was able to cover the first 5 nights of my stay in an Airbnb, and then even the nights that some of the nights that I have now in the extended stay that we are staying in right now. But she ended up taking pictures of everything, and then she was like, I'm going to contact our city and see if we have to have a permit to have a garage sale, because we're going to have a garage sale as well. So that night she's like, I'll be back at 6 o'clock in the morning and we're going to get this stuff going. We're going to continue to pack up and take everything out of here. She's like, Rhonda, you have to put your pride down. You got to put your ego down. And I'm going to talk to y'all about that too in the next video, about pride and ego, because I knew that was God telling her to tell me that, because sometimes that is an issue that we have. I know that's one of my issues, and I want God to tear that down. So this was part one of how God moved me and my family from Cleveland, Ohio, literally 5 months ago, and we are evicted. And we are today, we just checked